Hi guys, today I'm going to be continuing the How to Get Faster at the Rubik's Cube series. This is episode number 8, and in today's episode I will be teaching you and introducing you to the concept of OLL. OLL stands for Orient Last Layer, and it's part of the advanced method of solving the Rubik's Cube. If you haven't seen it already, you should go back and see this video, which is the last one in the series which explains F2L. F2L stands for first two layers and is how to solve the corners and the edges at the same time of the first two layers. In that episode I introduce the full steps of the advanced method. So I'm going to go over the last two steps, OLL and PLL now. So OLL is used to orientate all of the last layer pieces at once. Now as you can see, the first two layers have been done, and we now need to get all of the yellows in this case facing upwards. Now what I'm going to be talking about today is two-look OLL, and what that is a two-step process which saves you learning a lot of algorithms. So instead of learning 57 algorithms, all you have to do is know how to do the top cross properly and learn the 7 main algorithms for two-look OLL. So I'm going to go through each of those cases today and then show you another few easy cases which is best to know, and then you'll be good to go with the second part of the advanced method. Obviously the next one in this series will be showing you how to do two-look PLL. I know I've done previous videos on top cross tricks, but the simple facts are, if you have a line, once you've done your first two layers, you want to do the normal algorithm, which is F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F. If you have the L, you want to do this algorithm, which is very similar. You want to do a little f, which is the two layers, then do the R, U, R prime, U trigger, same as before, and then put those layers back. Doing those algorithms in that way will give you the best chance of doing an OLL skip, which means there are more cases that doing that algorithm will fix in terms of orientating the last layer by accident than there are if you do the normal methods. Now if you get the dot, all you have to do is do one then the other. The order doesn't necessarily matter, just get used to one way of doing them. For me, I do the big layer first, turn it with a U prime, and then do the small version. So now we've got the cross. I'm going to go through the 7 cases for you and tell you the algorithms that you need to know for this step. So this is case number 1. This is all going to be about knowing which yellows aren't facing up at the corners and which way out the ones that aren't are facing. So in this case we have headlight yellows here, 2 facing you towards you, and the back ones facing outwards, like so. Now for this case you want to hold the cube like this so that the headlights are facing away to you on your left, and then you've got the 2 yellows in your right hand, top and bottom. And then do the following algorithm. R, U2, R2, U prime, R2, U prime, R2, U2, R. As there are only U2 and U prime, you can pull with your second finger back like this. Now I'll do this with my normal speed. This is case number 2. This is where you have the cross and you have one yellow corner facing up, and then the 3 remaining yellows, if you look at them like this, the yellow is facing out on the right for each of them. The other case that we're about to do next is where they're facing out on the left. Now the way you want to hold your cube is with the yellow that's facing up in the bottom left, and then you want to do what should be a very familiar algorithm, and that's R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R prime. R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R prime. Let's do that again, but I'll do that in full speed this time. This is the third case where you have one yellow corner facing up, but this time if you look down on the 3 remaining corners, it's facing away to the left. Now in this case there are 2 options you can do. You can do the anti-Sune, which is effectively the reversed Sune algorithm, which goes as follows: R prime, U prime, R, U prime, R prime, U2, R. However, what I like to do is the left-handed reversed Sune. It's the same concept of having the face-up yellow below the yellow corner that is facing up, and in this case when you do it, it will be held in the bottom right. Now involved in the algorithm L prime, U prime, L, U prime, L prime, U2, L. Okay, so case 4 is what's known as the double headlights. So you've got 2 facing one way and 2 facing out the other way. It also involves having symmetry on the top layer. You may choose to notice that instead. This is quite an easy algorithm. It's similar to the top cross algorithms that I taught you a minute ago. Firstly, you want to have them facing towards and away from you, the 2 sets of headlights, and then do an F move. Then R, U, R prime, U prime trigger do that 3 times. So that's once, that's twice, that's 3 times, and then do the F prime. So once more, that's F, and then the R, U, R prime, U prime trigger 3 times, and then F prime. Okay, so this is case number 5, and one of the more harder ones. This is a single set of headlights. So you'll have two yellow corners facing up, and then 2 facing the same way. This is quite a hard algorithm, but once you've practiced it a few times and it's in your muscle memory, it's quite a quick one. So I'll teach you exactly how I do it. I hold the cube in the behind and front center with my thumb and third finger of my left hand, and then do it and hold the right side of the cube, top and bottom, in the middle with the same, as shown here. Now you want to do an R2 move, and then you want to do a D move, pulling through from the back, then do an R prime, still holding this, then a U2 with your top finger on your right hand there, then an R, still holding it here, and then you want to do a D prime move, and this may seem odd, but if you push through from the back there with the second finger, you'll let go of the third finger at the bottom of the right hand side there, but put it back and do an R prime move, and then simply at the end do a U2 and then an R prime again. Now I know that seemed quite complicated, but I'll go through it again step by step. So that's an R2 and then a D, R prime, U2, R, D prime, R prime, U2, R. And that at full speed is, so as you can see, once you learn it, it can get very fast. Okay, so this is case number 6. This is where, again, 2 of the corners will be facing up, and the other 2 will be facing away from each other. And for this, you want to hold the cube with the block of this 2x3 block here on the left hand side. So for this, you want to hold the cube on the top and the bottom, and firstly do a little R move, which is moving the 2 layers, and then treat the cube as though this is now the top layer and this is the front layer. Then a U prime, then an L, then a U, then an R, then a U prime, then an L prime, and then a U. This can be a little awkward as you're now looking at the cube wrong, but you're already holding it in the right places. You just got to turn it back towards you. It's actually one of the smoothest algorithms I know once you've got it in your muscle memory. So from here, I'll do it a couple more times for you so you can follow what my fingers are doing for this. For case number 7, this is where you have 2 diagonal yellows, both facing effectively one way. You won't have one where one is facing this way and one is facing this way. So for this, you want to have one facing out to the right, that's the top one, and one facing down towards you. Then you're going to hold the cube on the top and the bottom centers, and the right side with your thumb and your middle finger as so. Now you're going to be mainly turning this face for this algorithm and using your second and fourth to do the front and the back moves. Now I know if you hear back moves then it sounds like a scary algorithm, but this is usually okay. So you want to do an R prime, then an F, then an R, then a B prime, which is pulling that down as well, and then an R prime again, and then do an F prime to bring that back, then an R, and then I'll turn this so you can see it, and then a B. So that seemed a bit more awkward to slow down, so I'll speed it up a bit so you can see, but effectively you're moving this way, turning the front, then back, turning the back, then forward again, turning the front the other way, and then back again and turning the back the other way, like so. Okay, and that does it for all the main cases. Okay, now a couple of extra ones I want to teach you. Firstly, the 2 T's. If you get these when you're doing your top cross, make sure that you have the T on the right hand side. Then in case 1, you have these 2 edges facing up and down obviously, and then these 2 corners. If they're facing the same way out here, then you do your normal algorithm, which is F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime, and that will fully solve the top layer. The other T is when you have the two edges facing away. This time the two corners are facing with them. So you'll have two 2x1 blocks, one here and one here. For this case, you're going to do a trigger that I talked about in another one of these videos. I think this was number 5. Now you want to do R prime U prime, one that we're very familiar with, and then do an R prime, an F, an R, and an F prime, another trigger that we know. This is the final one I want to talk about. I was saying about solving the L, when you have the L in the bottom right corner like this, and then doing the normal algorithm, but with a 2-layered F instead. Well, if you have this, what I'm going to call the Tetris block, then when you do your normal algorithm, like so, that will fully orientate the top layer as well. The same goes when you have the left side. You will have to adapt your algorithm and do it with your left hand instead, but if you have this, you know you can fully orientate it at the same time as solving the top cross. So do a 2-layered F prime, then an L prime, U prime, L, U, and then put your 2 layers back, and that will solve that. So this is just the start in knowing how to solve the Rubik's Cube a lot quicker. Now you will have to start learning algorithms pretty quickly, but as long as you keep doing them all every day, and what I did was I added a new one every day or so, but keep doing the old ones that you've been learning before as well. I've actually got a video in this series on the best ways I've found to learn an algorithm, and the next installment of the series we'll be learning how to permute these. For an example here, we've got the 3 greens in place there and the blues in place here, which means these two need to be swapped with these two. That's the following algorithm. And that will finish your cube. So look forward to that. Any questions, post them in the comments below. All the algorithms I've used today will be in the description. They also will have been on the screen at the time as well. And that's it for this episode. So please like, subscribe, and happy cubing.